Good afternoon, hello madam.
Good afternoon, Amar sir. Just trying to. I'm audible, right?
Yes,
Okay,
you are audible.
perfect.
The Phil sir has joined.
Safal, I don't see him online. Let me just ping him.
Okay, okay.
He was supposed to join before me. I had a clash, but luckily my meeting got preponed, so I'm here on time.
Okay.
He's coming.
Okay.
So, how many people we're expecting to join?
Faculty members basically and some students.
Mhm. Hi, Safal.
Hello, Safal sir. Hi, good
Hi everyone.
afternoon.
Good
Hello,
afternoon.
good afternoon.
Is my audio good?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, just call me Safar. You don't need to
Okay.
answer there. Yeah. Thank you.
We can start exactly at 2 p.m.
Sure, we are ready.
Yes, thank you.
So Safal has joined from Ahmedabad, and I'm sure it's pretty hot over there. Even Pune is getting these heat waves.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, actually, our office is in a place called Gift City, which is closer to Gandhinagar. So yeah, almost there. But it's true. It's getting a bit hot. But summer also means other cool things, right? Like
Mhm.
mangoes.
Okay.
So yeah, it's always. I always look at the positive side of things.
Yes.
Yeah, summer is still manageable. Very cold is difficult to manage. So I'm fine with this.
So should we start?
Yeah, we are ready.
Okay. Okay. So it's at 2 o'clock. We can start. So welcome all the participants and speakers. So the first session is on IBM Agile by Mrs. Sheetal Atha and Mr. Safal Jain. This is jointly organized by the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, MIT School of Computing, then IEEE Computer Society Student Chapter, and IEEE Pune section. So I'm introducing the speaker, Mrs. Sheetal Atha. She is a program manager, special projects. Let me start the recording first. One, sorry. One. Okay, so we are starting. So Mrs. Sheetal Atha is a program manager, special projects like incubation projects and hackathon at IBM India Software Lab. She is a design coach and agile coach. Madam holds 26 plus years of experience in IT and IBM for 17 plus years. In the past, she has helped many organizations in transforming their process. She has also worked in all the phases of software lifecycle. So, welcome, madam. The second, the speaker is Mr. Safal Jain. He is a product manager with IBM Security in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. He was IT consultant with Logica. He is BTech in Electronics and Telecommunications and MBA in Marketing and International Business. His interests are agile, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, with this, I request the speakers to deliver the talk on IBM Agile. Thank you. I'm stopping the sharing so that you can share the presentation.
All right. I can get started, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I do see someone's message. The presentation is not visible. I'll share my screen and you can confirm. Um,
Okay.
if my slide is visible. Can you see my slide?
Yes, it is visible, madam.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
thank you.
Just all right. So thank you so much. First of all, Dr. Amar, MIT, and faculty members, very much thank you. I'm feeling honored to be here to share our experience. Agile is very core to my heart, and I'm sure same with Safal. We do experience this day in day out, and it's always good to come and share with college what is really working and what is not working, because one way that is a bookish knowledge, the other is what are the real challenges we face on the field, and more than happy to share that. um, we'll be doing more of sharing. We believe lesson slides, but it's virtual, I know. To grasp, if someone cannot hear, slides are important, so we have some slides, and at the end we have the second half of our session is with the fun activities, where Safal is going to help us with some nice games that he has thought of. So before we start, I would like to know um, from you all, is process important? What do you all think? You can unmute, or unmute and speak, or you can post on chat. What do you think? Process important? Just trying to look at the chat also. Give a minute. Okay, Anish says yes, it is. Anish, do you want to? Okay, Srini also says yes. Anyone wants to share something? Why you feel process is important?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
Ma'am, my view on this is process is important because the process which we go through will decide the final result. Final output of the program we are doing, or be it program or be it any maths problem or etc. Process will decide, steps in the process will decide the final outcome of the problem.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for being bold enough to come and share what you feel. I would also like you to think, um, have you ever walked into a hospital and did you feel, wow, what an experience it is? And have you also walked into some other hospitals or restaurants and felt that, oh, this is so chaotic, right? And if you had a wow experience, the reason behind is Someone is following some method, some process, has put some effort into that. And when we see chaotic situation, it is because process is not followed. Nevertheless, when you come into industry, people would say, why to follow process? It's an extra overhead. So always try to remember these examples and tell them, well, it's to bring happy experience with the customer. Okay, so process is important, and I wanted to start with this note because there will be stage in life where you feel, should I take a shortcut? Should I follow process or not? And think about these wow experience that you had and what was the reason. And that's the reason we have Agile. Okay. And the second question that I have is, what do you see over here? These are all characteristics of Agile projects we're going to talk about. You see six pictures over here which belong to different industry. I'm sure the picture itself talks. What do you think? Where can we apply Agile? Out of these industries, where can we apply Agile? Anyone wants to talk or post on chat? I am also trying to. Okay, anyone? You see radio, you see telephone, you see construction, paint, firefighting, agriculture. Anish says all of them bang on. Yes, you are absolutely right. Agile can be implemented in all the fields, even in your life. Even in support activities like HR and support, or even for your events management that you do, you can do it in an agile way. All those scrums and all those iterations you can have with small objectives and go ahead. Yeah, I'm sure all of you know what is agile, right? It is nothing new for you all. Is it new for you all? You all are aware of agile? So that I know how much in depth to go. You all know agile? Or is it a new concept? It is new for Srini. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have a mix of crowd. So Srini, where you don't understand, you can ask a question. Okay. Um, I will share what is agile. Okay, and this is the definition of agile. So anyone ask you what is agile, you should say it is a mindset change. Mindset change to give more importance to what you see on the left hand side in blue text to what you see on the right hand side in black text. That is agile. It's as simple as that. It helps you to work in speed. It helps you to remove defects, remove wastages, the various things that you can do. It does not give you prescription how to do. It says what is required, so you have lot of freedom. Yeah, they have knowingly done this. They have knowingly given you a lot of freedom to decide how you want to do it. Okay, so let's see what manifesto says. Manifesto says that in agile projects we give more importance to individuals and interactions over process and tools. I'm sure Srini and everyone knows that while we are developing any software, we we do have a lot of steps, we do use many tools, and a lot of effort goes into that, right? But the Agile says give more importance to individuals and interactions rather than documenting it. We don't s- don't just be bogged about, have I documented, am I following this tool, am I doing these processes. Instead, see, have I interacted, have I communicated, what are my touch points, am I talking to them? If you're not, please do. So individuals and interactions are more important. Communication is more important. Second, it says working software over comprehensive documentation. It's very important. In those old days of waterfall, we used to have big booklets of planning, of requirements, and anything you want to know, you would open it up. It was a Bible. Anything you want to know, just open that and do it. You had nobody to ask, no help available. What does it mean? What you're supposed to do? Just read those Bibles and do it. So imagine the amount of effort goes in making a correct document. So the time has changed, and we say instead of doing that, take small chunk of work and focus on giving some working software every week, maybe every 2 weeks, but very often. Yeah, because customers are going to value your software, not the documentation. So that is one more important thing to remember. Are you delivering value? Third, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Now, if I mean, it's very obvious that when you're buying or selling, you get into that negotiations, and if you just focus on that, okay, if they ask you some change, you again start thinking how much effort, how much time, and so much of discussion goes into that. Instead, if you collaborate with customer right at the start and give them what they want, just enough, they are going to be happy. They don't need 100 of features, they need just enough so that they can solve their problem. So for communicate with customers. If you're not communicating, then it's a problem. Fourth point, the fourth value says responding to change over following a plan. Yeah, and this is very important. I know misunderstood in the industry by many of them. Just imagine, just imagine if you have a function at home. Let's say you have to attend a marriage party and you've given your dress to the tailor, to make it for you, and maybe you give it in the morning. In the evening you says, hey, can you just change the color of the lace that you're putting, because my jewelry color is different, or my jewelry is different, or something, my accessories are different. And he says no, period. You gave me your design in the morning and that is it, we can't change. Will you like it? No, obviously. You'll say, my money, my dress. Why he's not changing, right? So that's the reality. You need to respond to change. How you can respond to change? By taking just enough small chunk of work so that you can quickly tweak in where required. But if you take big chunk of work, it is very difficult to change. It might be too late to understand. Okay, so I don't want to spend more time into this. I'm sure most of you have read this, but I will try to explain this in different way. There are certain myths in the industry. So I would like to burst that myths, and let's move ahead with some more characteristic of agile. Okay, in agile, if you are agile if you have a stable code. If you don't have a stable code, very buggy code, which means something wrong is happening. You need to collect stakeholder feedback. If you don't know who are your stakeholders, I mean, that's one of the challenge. People don't know who are the stakeholders. If that is the case, you have a problem coming in. The third feature is third characteristic is we have a self-directed team, which means they are on their own. Nobody directs them. It's so nice, right? Who likes to be micromanaged? But this is the beauty of agile. We need to empower the team. We need to give freedom to the team so that they can complete their work at their own wish. Nobody is forcing them. Fourth characteristic is have a sustainable pace, which means you are delivering every week something. Nothing like maybe you were very productive in first week, second week, nothing. Third week, you got again some outcome. That is not the way Agile works. Agile says sustainable pace, and maybe over a period of time, you increase because you are doing it again and again. So these are the four characteristics of Agile. And if you follow Agile properly, you will see all these benefits. Okay. So the first myth that I want to bring out is no documentation. And I have a story to share over here. You know, I was working as a quality assurance manager, and I used to conduct those reviews and audits. My usual day was to give, call to manager, project manager, and say that I want to audit your project, and when can we do? One fine day, one of the managers said, Sheetal, what you will audit? We have no documentation. We are agile. He mistook agile in such a way that it says no documentation. We will not even have one document. You cannot audit. But that's not true. What agile says is document just enough. Anytime you are opening a Word document or picking up a paper and pencil, ask this question to yourself. Will this document be referred by someone? Will I be using it? Will it be read sometime? If your answer is yes, go document it. And if your answer is no, not required. So nothing is mandated by Agile, but what they are saying is document when it is required. If nobody is going to read it, please don't do it. We don't need those manuals. Okay. Safal, do you have any experience to share about documentation?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking, Sheetal. So remember, and I mean, I'm just trying to remember my days, right? When I was in an engineering college, and there used to be like one of the biggest projects used to be a dissertation. So, like in the final year, as a group project, the team would work together, and then I think it lasted like one semester, but then we really only started working when it was maybe the deadline was approaching, right? So maybe a few days before the deadline, we would start working and trying to like figure out, okay, what kind of like what is what are the documents available? How do we like get this printed and all of those things? So yeah, I totally agree. I think some level of planning is required so that you don't get into a frenzy mode at the end and trying to finish off like try to meet that deadline, right? So I totally agree with you that some documentation is helpful, and Agile uh, also talks about that.
All right. Okay. So, as Safal was talking about planning, some amount of planning is required. And one of the myth is we don't plan. People say that, okay, we are agile, we don't plan. We don't have to create any planning documents, we don't have to plan. But that is not true. In agile, you plan just enough, or you plan just for the iteration. You need to, right? Even if you even if you want to go for any trip, you will do some checklist, some planning. That much is enough. It could be as simple as just checklist or the list of items that you plan to do today. At least some planning. What are you planning to do today? If you don't have any plan, you will reach nowhere. So make sure you plan. I don't want those gang charts and those long plans, but some planning is required. Okay. Third, many say that agile development is not disciplined because we are all self managed. We can come anytime, we can go anytime. I mean, change is inevitable, anything can change. But if you are not disciplined, you cannot deliver value. So, one important point is in agile you need to be on time. If you have a scrum calls, you need to be on a time. You cannot say that, oh, we are self-managed, we'll do what we want. If you're not disciplined, your team is not going to make progress, you will not deliver value. So being disciplined is very important in agile. Make sure, if you're a scrum master, especially a scrum master, you have to be on time, then you can coach others to be on time. So that is one point that we always make to our scrum masters, that you be on time. Then you can coach others beyond time. Make sure that the team is disciplined, otherwise, they'll never ever be able to meet the deadline. The reason being, in Scrum, we don't change the iteration dates, right? I'm sure you all are aware. The deadline is deadline. We don't say, oh, we are not ready, so we are rescheduling or we are extending the date. That does not happen. You deliver whatever is ready. And if it is not ready, it becomes a bad debt, which you don't want. So, in order to deliver value, to meet your goals, you have to be disciplined. It doesn't matter whether you work during day or night or whichever time, but you complete and meet your goals each day, every day. Fourth, agile means I can change my mind whenever I want. Many people are so happy when they say we are agile, because they feel they are free. They're free to decide. But you cannot say that today I have a mood to work on this module and tomorrow I have a mood to work on different modules, so I will work. No, you are committed. If you are committed to work on certain modules, you make sure you meet them. What changes are allowed is after the sprint is over, if there is a change in priority or requirement, you do take, but you never take changes in between your sprints. If it is on, only development team can decide, but no manager, no product owner can force the team to pick up something. Okay, right? The fifth, many do believe that agile means team cannot be controlled by management. I know that this was like, oh wow, there will be no project managers. And even today, there is a lot of confusion in the industry that what is project manager's role? What is scrum master's role? I mean, we'll not have project managers. We'll not have anyone at the senior leadership team. That is what people feel. But no, that's not the case. They are still there, but they will not micromanage you. They will not say stand, sit, code, do this, do that. No, that you are going to decide. That is agile. In agile, you get a freedom, but there's a management team to help you whenever there are issues and queries. Okay. Sixth, agile does not work for big projects. It's a big myth. I've seen so many people are scared when it's a big project. They feel only startup projects or incubation projects can have agile. No, that's not true. Even big projects can have agile. They can follow agile. They need to break it up into small squads or tribe, where each tribe has certain goals to follow, and they have their own scrums, and we have scrum of scrums, and make sure everyone is communicating, everyone is interacting, and that's how the big products are delivered. It doesn't matter whether it's a legacy product, it's big product, many features. You can just simply divide them into small squads and manage. Okay. Seventh, agile team does not work hard. This is one major feedback or sharing that we get from managers. They feel, oh, I'm scared. You're telling the team is on their own, but I'm sure they'll not work. Even today, when we have some initiatives or events and we say we will put this up and we'll ask people to pick it up and work, people have concern. They say nobody will come ahead. Everyone doubts that if you give them the freedom, nobody will do any work. But that's not true. uh, you will see that people who don't work, they are usually not taken in any teams. Yeah, they would see they will not have their growth. They'll not have their career growth. They'll not see their performance. So if they want to make progress in their career, I'm sure people who work in the organization, they want to get some increments, promotions, make their career. And if they're serious about it, they will work hard. They will pick up the work. If not the first time, second time they will. And good people are always recommended by their colleagues. And when they are recommended, they work together as a team. And that has more power, more productivity. So the best is not to force, but to influence, to empower. And that's what Agile says. they will work the way they want, but they keep them self managed. That's the best way of working. All right. So those were my myths. And um, the advice that I would give to people is, when you are having agile projects, make sure you are on time. You are not accepting any bullying. Everyone is equal. If you see someone is bullying, you won't be successful. At the same time, make sure you are having fun, you are planning just enough, you are learning, your team is learning, because learning goes on till we die, I believe so don't stop learning. Develop interpersonal skill, very important, because if you are not working hard and if people don't like you, they will never take you in your team. So interpersonal skill is important, working hard is important, because if you don't work, there are no valuable deliverables at the end. There are no increments at the end. So, to make your project successful, make sure you are doing all these activities. Okay. Um, I've been doing a lot of sharing. Any questions anyone has on myths, or anyone wants to share any of the myths that I talked about? Anyone experienced any of these myths? Or was this absolutely new for you all?
Actually, Sheetal, I wanted to share since folks are a bit shy here. So I
Sure.
know it's been all in the news, but everybody here would also probably know that Apple actually uh, launched 2 stores in India, right? So this is the first time Apple stores have, I mean, they got inaugurated. And what many would be surprised with is that this has been a long planning process. So the first time the idea of Apple stores, or this was publicly shared by Tim Cook, was 2016. It's taken them almost 7 years to uh, obviously like plan things, but also work with different stakeholders, whether that's the government or different agencies, figuring out how the unique, you could say, design outlook or design value of Apple reflects in the store that they have. And that's why you will probably see all over the news and social media how welcome they are, or how well this launch has been received. So yes, again, busting that myth that uh, planning is essential as part of Agile. So planning definitely needs to be there.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Uh, Planning definitely is. I mean, even when you want to go on a trip, you have an event at home, you have event in college. I'm sure you do some planning, right? You do write few things, if not a gang chart, those extensive planning, but yeah. And so agile is very lightweight process, and you can tweak in, you can do as much as you want over here. Okay, so with interest of time, I want to talk on reflection. Okay, and I think this is very important a part to talk about, and I would like to ask this question um, to you all. When did you last reflect? Now, this reflect could be at professional level or even at a personal level. You can also sit one fine day and think, where I am, what am I doing, how far I have been. When did you last reflect? Anyone wants to share? Of course, it's not mandatory if it is so personal, but anyone wants to share, um, when did you last reflect? Is there anyone who does it daily or weekly? Every day before sleeping, I do. Wow, that's great, Srini. Please keep doing that. I'm sure it helps you. Srini, you want to come and talk a little about it? Has this helped you in any ways? If it has helped you, Okay, no worries. Your mic is not working. No worries. You can post on chat, and I'm sure people would love to know your experience. Anyone else? Okay. By the time others post on chat, one thing that I wanted to show over here in reflection is whenever you're doing a reflection, ask these three questions. What made you happy? What made you sad? What made you, worried? Okay. So ask these three questions. What propels you forward? What makes you move ahead? What is the push that you're getting? What is helping you to move ahead? What is holding us back? Is there something which is holding you back, or do you see any risk ahead? If you try to ask these three questions and work on it every day, you'll make progress and you'll be successful, not only in life but also in your projects. Okay, so with that, I would hand over to Safal. He has some interesting games, and let's have fun.
Yeah, Sheetal, I think Chitra replied on the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Reflection every night on daily actions helps in future and decision making. Absolutely. It helps in taking better decisions rather than randomly, you know, taking some decision and then feeling, oh, that was a wrong one for me. Yeah, great point, Chitra. Thank you. Okay, Safal, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Sheetal, and thanks everyone. Hey, so team for folks here, I think what we'll do is, oh, I think Sheeni added something. Maybe Sheetal, if you want to read that.
What have I learned new is a question every day night I ask myself. That helps me to get up to date and I get motivated that way. Absolutely. Oh, that's such a wonderful point. She's saying what is new that I have learned every day. And imagine 365 days if you're learning. I mean, by the year end, you have learned 365 new things. Amazing. Wow. We should also try doing that. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for sharing both Srini and Chitra. So, folks, what we're going to do is play a little agile game. And what I need your help, right? Because it's a game. I and Sheetal can't play it alone. So we would want everybody to play if possible, if they can. So the way to do this, and let me actually share my screen, is we would love to keep this interactive. So you can either, while we're playing the game, you can either come on the chat or you can like speak up. But do share with us like your thoughts, your comments, and you could also use the emojis. So there are these reactions or emojis at the bottom of WebEx that you'll see with the smiley icon. So you could also use those while we play this game, right? All right. Are we ready to go? Any emojis, comments? Are we ready? Okay, I see a few thumbs up. So let's go. All right. So before we begin, I just wanted to reiterate what Agile is, right? And I thought I'll bring up something which has been something I've experienced. So on this chart here, you see 5 words, right? Trust, openness, empathy, respect, courage. And when you think of these words and when you think of the concepts around Agile that Sheetal just shared, you see a direct correlation because when you have an agile mindset, you feel trusted, right? You're open, you have empathy towards your colleagues, you have respect towards your colleagues, and you have courage that you can, I mean, be bold, you can do difficult things. So think of these 5 as agile values, which are essential for any team to be agile, really. So just wanted to start off with that and set up some context, and then let's get straight into the game. All right, so the game is called What Will You Do? We will have 4 rounds, and each of the round you'll see there are some characters. I'm sure, I'm hopeful that you might be aware of most of them. We have some scenarios, and there is a solution. There are no right or no wrong answers, and then you can share. Oh, the screen is not visible. Let me try to stop and let me try again.
I think Srini is facing that problem from the start. I can see. What about others?
Yeah, just give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. If you can see the screen, give a thumbs up.
Please respond.
Okay, you can see Pooja says see. Okay. Oh, Srini can see now. That's great. Thanks.
Perfect.
All right, we'll continue from here. So the game is called What Will You Do? You will have 4 rounds. Each round will have character, scenario, and a solution. There is no right or wrong answers. And then you can either come and unmute yourself and speak on WebEx, or if you want, you can also put the answers in the chat. So let's get started with round 1. Okay, so here we see 2 familiar faces to everybody, I believe, Gabbar and Kalia. So here's what Gabbar says. Gabbar says to Kalia, I understand that you know about GitHub. Can you give a presentation to the team tomorrow? And our dear Kalia is a bit worried. Kalia is thinking in his mind, I am new to GitHub and I need more time to understand it better. So what do you think Kalia will do? Put your chat, put your answers or in the chat, or if you want to speak up, go ahead and do that. So what do you think in this scenario Kalia will do? Any thoughts?
Yeah, what suggestion you will have for him?
So your boss is saying give a presentation on GitHub, but Kalia is like, okay, I probably don't know this tool or this technology, and I should have learned about it. So what should Kalia do in an agile situation or working in an agile team? Don't be shy. There's no wrong answer or right answer. Okay, Chitra says maybe he'll ask for more time. That's great. Shini says he might take help of other people. Yeah, that's another good idea. Okay, let's see what he actually does. Okay, Dr. Jayashree says Kalia will undergo job training. Very well, those are great ideas, great answers. In this case, Kalia gets, I mean, he's scared of Gabbar, right? So he says, boss, I was jam-packed last week. This would be my top priority in the next sprint. But Gabbar is not happy. He says, to Goli. So you see that in this scenario, even though, and you rightly pointed out, right? Kalia was not confident. Kalia did not, well, he was not confident to say no to Gabbar, that, or he did, or admit really that, I mean, I don't know this technology and I need more time. So this is what he should have really done, but instead he just bogged down under pressure. So in an agile team, you should really be confident to say that you don't know something, and as the people put in the chat, say that I'll learn about it. Okay, that was good participation. Let's move to round 2, and we have some different scenario here. So you'll see on the left, probably many of you recognize Harmanpreet Kaur, the captain of the Mumbai Indians team from the WPL, and then you have Surya Kumar Yadav, who's from the Mumbai Indians IPL. So let's see what they're saying. So Harmanpreet says, nice to meet you, Surya. All the best for IPL 2023. And then Surya's team. Harmanpreet's team played very well in the IPL. Actually, they won it. Maybe I should ask for some tips. So let's say in an agile scenario, what would Surya say? What would he ask Harmanpreet for? Put in your comments in the chat. And as always, there are no right or wrong answers. So feel free to put what you think. Any thoughts?
They are making the plans, I think so. They will write. They're thinking what to suggest.
Yeah, take your time.
What you would suggest.
Yeah, if I was Harmanpreet, I would say, nice tattoo, Surya. Where can I get it done? I think there was a comment in the chat. Sheetal, I missed that. Can you read?
Yeah, sure. So Dr. Jayashree Prasad says you should be open for getting suggestions and guidance. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, Dr. Jashi, right? So, I mean, as you've seen, right, with the game of cricket, right, it's expanded, and I mean, BCC is actually giving equal pay for both female and male cricketers. So Surya should not be shy. He should definitely ask for help or tips. But in this case, he is a bit shy. He says, "Thanks, Harman. I'm standing in for Rohit, who's not keeping well." I see a comment here. Sorry, I missed that. Sheetal, if you could read.
Yes, Srini says he would ask that what plans or how did you plan for this?
Right, exactly. So you're spot on about right. So I mean, Surya should have asked for help, but instead he I don't know, he just got a bit hesitant, and he realized that okay, let me just have like general talk, right? So he did
Hmm.
not actually have the confidence to ask for help. That is another aspect of being in an agile, self-directed team, because you would or probably not know everything. So it's always, I mean, appreciated or welcome to ask for help, whether it's from a colleague, your manager, or anybody. And while Surya doesn't ask for help, Harmanpreet is thinking, based on how the team is playing this year, KL's our team might win IPL instead of Mumbai Indians. So that's a jibe at the men's team. But yeah, let's move into round three. So another scenario from maybe a popular TV series that some of you might have seen, The Family Man. Okay, so here you see Mr. Shrikant Tiwari and his boss, right? I think a very famous episode from the series where his boss says, "You were supposed to send me that report 5 hours ago." What do you think Shrikant will say? Don't think about what happened in the series, but think about what would you do as if you were Shrikant. So put those comments in the chat, and you can also speak up if you want. So see, you see an angry boss who's saying this report was due 5 hours ago, and Shrikant seems a bit frustrated. So let's see what Shrikant would say.
And these are real time situations. You would always have these situations in your project where you are asked, or where you want to take some tips, what you'll do.
Exactly. Okay, Srini
Okay.
says he would. Go ahead, Sheetal. Please read that.
I thought you can't read, so I started. Okay,
Yeah,
Srini is saying he would say that he will try to complete it in half hour, if half an hour, if he permits, and also apologize for the same. So he'll
hmm
pressurize. He's committing. Okay. Chitra says, politely apologize and inform till what time he will submit. Okay, almost same.
Okay.
So they
Yeah,
will they will promise.
yeah, those are good ideas. And I mean, as I said, right, there are no right or wrong answers. But let's see what Shrikant actually says. So Shrikant says, "I'm having a bad day. Please just leave me alone." Right? And what does his boss say? "I'm sorry to hear that. Why don't you take the day off and get some rest?" So in this scenario, you see that actually it is a bit different from what happened in the TV show, but it is good that uh, uh, Shrikant had the confidence to say no. Right? He said, "Hey, you know what? I mean, I can't do it." And it happens with us all the time, right? We have some good days, we had some bad days. There are days where, yeah, we maybe not keeping well, and there are days when you just try to do something and you can get everything done, right? So it's always good to share with your boss, your team, your colleagues, your friends, that I mean, it's not good. So you need to have the confidence to say no, even when things are not going well. And here's a good point, right? Oh, okay. Uh, Here's a good point that in this case, the boss did realize that this person is not keeping well, and they empathize with Shrikant. So that was maybe one good way to handle the situation. I see a comment here, Sheetal, if you can read that
Yeah.
out.
So Chitra says, but what if he was having good day, but he was a bit busy? So they are
Yeah,
asking you question now.
yes, yes. So I know sometimes people do, maybe if you can put a term to it, fake things, right? They would say, okay, I was busy uh, doing something else, or they would give an excuse. But see, in an agile environment and even in life in general, right? Your body language or maybe the way you speak gives cues to other people, and it might work once, it might work twice, but then the other person might think this person always gives excuses, right? Or this person is always late, and they would create a impression of you. So it's important to be open and have the courage, as alluding to the values that I showed earlier in the deck. It's important to be open and courageous, but then you should also respect the other person. You shouldn't be, I, okay, you know what? My boss doesn't care. I can lie to him and get with it. That should not also happen. So that was a very good question, but it's, as I said, right? You will eventually get caught. So try to be honest and transparent, and I think things will hopefully work out.
Yeah,
Great. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm loving playing it with this group here, and we have round four, something which is, I'm sure everybody's seen. Okay, I see a comment from Srini. We'll read that first, Sheetal, and then we'll get into this round.
Okay, Srini is saying we should be honest, respectful, and disciplined as well. Yes, absolutely, we should be honest. And I think Safal is trying to say is be transparent. We are humans. We can have bad day. We may not. We may do some mistakes, but if you are, if you are transparent and if you are communicating, then people start building trust. And you remember that chart where he showed trust is important. But if we start faking things, or if we just do it because someone is saying, we will be either burnout or things may not work. And that's where Agile says, you should work together, be transparent. If this is not done, Agile will not work for you. You won't be happy being Agile.
Yeah, absolutely, love it. All right, so I'm sure most of you would have probably seen this movie, but in case you've not, this is from the movie Pathan that released earlier this year, and you have obviously Salman Khan and Shah Rukh in a interesting scene here. So let's see what they're saying. So Salman is saying Pathan is a massive hit at the box office. Should we do a sequel? And Shah Rukh or SRK is saying he's thinking actually that Salman's been only doing action movies recently. Maybe he should try something else or different this time. So, what do you think Shah Rukh Khan will actually say to Salman? Obviously, they share a wonderful bond, right? They've been uh, acting in movies since, I don't know, maybe Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, which was when I was in school. So it's been such a long time that they, and it's been, and seeing them together on screen again, I think was a big reason that why many people went to the theater to see this movie. But yeah, what would Shah Rukh Khan say in this scene? And as always, there's no right or wrong answer. You can always share any answer. It could be a funny one as well.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay, Chitra says maybe we can try some different genre.
Genre, yeah. Anybody else who would like to share, like Chitra?
Yeah, no ideas are bad. You can make it a little funny or different.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Shah Rukh wants Salman muffler, right? Or the scarf is wearing.
Yeah, I will do if something more he ask.
All right, cool.
Make a
Let's see
story.
actually, yeah, what Shah Rukh says. So he says, "Huh, Salman, why? Let's call the sequel Tiger versus Pathan."
Yeah, he's
And
asking. That's what I said. He asked something.
yeah, and then Salman says, "हाँ, Tiger के नाम सबसे पहले होना चाहिए." So he's not giving his ego away, and making sure that Tiger is in front. But in this scenario, you'll see that even though like Salman and Shah Rukh, they know each other for quite a long time, and they've been like at it. So Shah Rukh probably did not have the confidence to give his unbiased opinion, right? He was thinking that okay, Salman is doing a lot of action movies. Actually, one of his movies is releasing today. No, I mean, I'm not trying to promote the movie. If you want, please do go ahead and see that. But yeah, I mean, in a team, we should feel the confidence that we can share an unbiased opinion, right? Even if it may sound to the other person like, hey, uh, I mean, this is like a tough opinion or a harsh opinion, right? Because we respect them. We want to make the team and make our colleague do better, right? So we are here for each other. So empathy, right? That was one of the values that I shared. So it's important. Yeah, Jayashree, go ahead. You want to say something? Uh, Jayashree, do you want to share your thoughts here?
We- Adraj
Okay.
Kumar, or is it someone? You could hear some. Ha, Jayashree. Yeah, Jayashree, if you want to speak.
Yeah, I think maybe she'll come back.
Fine.
Okay, no worries. Well, okay. The thing that I was saying was that in a team, right, there is like nothing. I mean, you're here to help each other, and the empathetic answer or the empathetic response would be that, hey, you know what, Salman, maybe you should do like a sci-fi movie. You've not done one for a long time. So yeah, I think you should feel confident to share your unbiased opinion. And maybe in this case, Shah Rukh was not. So again, just to give you a summary, right? Takeaways from the agile game. In each of the scenarios we saw with Gabber and Kalia, uh, having the confidence to say that you don't know something. With Harmanpreet and Surya, confidence to ask for help. With Shrikant Tiwari and his boss, confidence to say no when things are not going good. And then in case of Tiger and Pathan, confidence to share your unbiased opinion. So essentially what this whole summary that I wanted to talk to you about is that when you have this confidence, right, all of these elements, and there are more which we didn't have time to go through, you will have the confidence to decide. Because once you have that confidence to decide, like that in a self-directed team, you can take actions, you can help your team grow, you can work and deliver your stuff on time, and that would eventually be success for you individually and as well as a team. So it's important to have the confidence to decide and take these actions. So with that, I think we're done with the game. Hope you enjoyed playing it. Thank you. And then we're open for any questions.
Participants, if you have any questions, please type in a chat window. Otherwise, you can ask directly.
Okay, Srini says enjoyed a lot. I'm glad. I'm glad to see that.
Any questions, participants?
Yeah, it could be comments as well, right? I know if you like think of a scenario that we showed and or any of the slides that Sheetal showed about the myths, right? And if you have a comment about how that is applicable to you or how you have personally observed agile in your work or have seen somebody else do that, feel free to share. And you can come off mute if you want to speak up, or you can put it in chat, whatever you feel comfortable with.
So I think participants do not have any questions, but they have enjoyed a lot through the interactive session. So it was a really interactive session. We are very thankful for Sheetal Atha madam and Safal Jain sir are very thankful to Dr. Surekha Deshmukh, Madam, Chair IEEE Pune Section, HODs, Dr. Ganesh Patak Sir, Dr. Shraddha Phansalkar Madam, Dr. Rajnish Kaur Bedi Madam, Director, then Dean Dr. Ramchandra Pujari Sir. So, as a gratitude of this session, so we request the speakers please accept as a token of love. So we are really appreciate for giving valuable time. Thank you. We also appreciate Mr. Safal Jain for giving valuable time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have enjoyed coming here and glad to see that you all enjoyed. Hopefully in future we'll connect more. We look forward for more sessions
Yes.
interacting with you all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
actually, just to add to that, everybody, if you want to connect with us on LinkedIn, feel free to extend an invite. We'd be happy to connect. And yeah, you can always reach out if you have any questions about Agile or anything else as well, right? It was great fun doing this and interacting with all of you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I'm just posting my LinkedIn link. If you want, you can just connect and we will be glad to help you.
Yes. Uh, Thank you all the participants. We have next session on cloud agnostic architecture. Please stay here. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll take your leave, Amar sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much for giving valuable time with us. Thanks.
We'll meet soon. Bye bye.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
thank you. Have a good
Sure.
day.
Mm.
Bye.
Yeah. Have a good day. Participants, please wait. We have the next session by Mr. Amol. Meanwhile, please fill the feedback form that is given. Amol sir had joined. We'll wait for 1 minute and we'll start the session. Amol sir, good afternoon, sir.
Uh, can everyone hear me well?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Yes, yes. We'll wait 1 or 2 minutes and
Sure,
we'll
sure.
start. Sir. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, sir.
And we'll finish it up to 4 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some hard stops. I will see. I may have only 45 minutes, but it should be sufficient. We'll see. Otherwise, we can reconnect. It's not a problem,
Okay.
later on. Thank you. So sorry, I just want to make sure. So who all we have in the audience? No, I don't want everyone's name. It's too many. But is it faculty members or there are students also? I just want to. Okay, let's wait.
So I am sharing the presentation here. So we can start.
Actually, I have built one. So yeah. Let me share. That's fine. Should I get started or we need to wait? Right? Correct.
Wait for 1 minute. So we'll
Sure,
start.
sure. No, no. I will. Yeah, sure. No, it's nice. Please.
1 minute. So welcome all the participants. We have session 2 that is on cloud agnostic architecture by Mr. Amol Ghanekar, sir. So this webinar is jointly organized by the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, MIT School of Computing, then IEEE Computer Society Student Chapter, and IEEE Pune section. So brief about Amol Ghanekar, sir. So currently he is senior application architect on various blockchain initiatives across India and Asia Pacific region. He contributes in solutioning various initiatives across business domains like supply chain and banking. Sir has overall more than 23 years of strong experience in architecting, solutioning, and implementing multi-tier distributed systems on various technology. With this, I request Mr. Amol sir to deliver the talk on cloud agnostic architecture. Thank you, sir. So you can share
Thank you.
your presentation.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. And thanks for having me. So I honestly I don't have too many slides. I won't kill you with too many slides. So the idea here is, and let me share. This is the first time I'm delivering this because I actually strongly believe that this will be helpful when we talk about cloud. So we're not talking about any other technology. We are talking only about cloud today, as you can understand. So the solutioning of anything can be cloud. It can be. Sorry, just 1 second. Let me make sure. Yeah. Okay. You guys can see what I'm sharing.
That is visible.
Okay. Thank you. So the idea here is not to have too many slides, and um, the idea is I want to give you the message that what is most crucial thing to learn in terms of cloud. Again, I'm not saying what I'm sharing here is more on the cloud agnostic part. The cloud itself is huge. There are so many things you can do in cloud. There are obviously there is a you can develop REST APIs. You can run batch jobs. You can run so many things. Which probably honestly even I don't know about everything. You can run ML. You can run AI. You can do so many things on the cloud. Right? It's not restricted to only purchasing a VM and running a Unix command. Right? You can do many things on that, and we are not covering everything because we don't have time, and that it can go on and on and on. So this is what I believe is based on my experience. Honestly speaking, when I this is the first time I'm sharing this slide, so it may not be exactly up to the mark in terms of professionalism, or there may be few things we can ask. I forgot to put agenda also, sorry about that. But I believe what I am trying to tell you today is it may not take 1 hour, but the idea is I tell you the message based on my experience, and not just mine, but experience of IBM. No, again, IBM is a big word. I'm talking about me and people whom I know in IBM, where our big clients are moving to what they expect us to deliver, and that is a message I am trying to deliver. And we will start with that. What we'll do is in this we will cover what is mean by a cloud agnostic design, which probably you can Google. I also Googled few things, but it's more about my experience rather than just googling. So what is a cloud agnostic design? Then what are the advantages of it? What are the disadvantages of it? Everything comes with some kind of disadvantage. I can I can say there may be some disadvantage of even so-called microservices design also, but we are not going there. I'm just giving an example. Nothing comes as foolproof solution of anything. There will be always some disadvantages. What are the at a very core level? What the design looks like on AWS and Azure? Again, not everything what cloud can do or what all thing can be done on the cloud, but very specific to something like a microservices architecture, which is REST APIs creation. I'm talking about that part. So what can be done, and finally, what should we teach? Uh, Again, basic things. What we should every student who is taking cloud on a serious note should know as far as the cloud agnostic designer is concerned and what they need to know. So this is what this session is all about. It is a more practical session, and you are always free to ask me any question anytime. We can keep it more interactive rather than me going through, because I don't have too many slides as I told you. So help me in getting more time, also in spending more time with you. Okay. Okay. I can start now, I believe, right? Okay. So this is a very basic context. What cloud agnostic means. So basically, what this means is it's not necessarily can run only on specific cloud platform. You can read there are only two lines. The idea is what if I don't know whether it's a chat GPT. I think it may be chat GPT. I tried. I just searched, in chat GPT. Okay, tell me how I can develop a microservices on AWS. I'm just giving some example. I think it was ChatGPT only. It gave me an option with the AWS Lambda. I believe most of you are aware of AWS Lambda. Is that correct? At least some of you, I'm assuming.
Some of
Okay,
many.
fine. No worries. Okay, so AWS Lambda at a very high level is the customized version of which runs only on AWS cloud. It is a very wonderful tool. What it does is you give your code. Let's say you written a code to connect to a database, do something. It's like microservices architecture. You are doing something. Okay, at least we have one. Yes. So just give that code. It can be written in Java. It can be in Python. It can be not all languages are supported. I believe Node.js, whatnot. You give it to AWS, and it will run for you. It can do a batch job processing. It can be part of your microservices API code also, but it will run only on AWS. Now, same code with some tweak can run on your local machine also, but it is specific. The deployment is specific to AWS. So that is called cloud native. So cloud native, I just give example of AWS Lambda. That can, if tomorrow, what happens, what we have seen in our with our experiences, the clients are looking for some solution which can be cloud agnostic. What cloud agnostic mean is whenever we get the requirements from the client, when we do a design or architecture of that solution, you should keep in mind that my solution should be able to run anywhere. Again, there's nothing like 100% lift and shift. So today it's running on AWS. It is highly unlikely that same solution tomorrow I can switch to Azure. Or day after tomorrow I can switch to IBM cloud. I'm not talking about up to that extent, but we should be mindful that whatever code we write, so that it is more longevity, it is more flexible in nature. We should be able to put that code in any cloud or on-prem for that matter, and it should run. And there will be some lag. It should not happen that we are moving from AWS to Azure, because what happens in the real world is our client or anyone can cut deals. The cloud providers can change. So today we have one client on who has signed up a contract with AWS after 5 years, 6 years. AWS, I'm just giving some example. They may, and this is something happened in reality also. I can't divulge the name obviously of any client. Suddenly they find Azure to be more appealing. They thought that Azure is cheaper, this giving us a better. They may switch to the Azure. It happens, right? Which people are moving from AWS to Azure and vice versa, depending on what deal our clients cut with on the enterprise level. And then what happens is suddenly our code, which is running well in Lambda, we are a little bit in a bind now. I need to migrate to Azure. What to do? And we need to find something equivalent there. it can never be lift and shift, but as much as possible it should be smooth lift and shift from one cloud provider to another, and that is called cloud agnostic architecture. Cloud native is where something can run only in that particular cloud environment. Another big example I can give is one good example I can give is DynamoDB on AWS. If I think you might be aware of, DynamoDB is a NoSQL database which works on AWS. Now there, so if it is written in that, and now you need to do a lift and shift to Azure as an example, you will be scrambling of what to do. I need to now again, what is equivalent in Azure? We need to find what is a NoSQL solution and then what to do. But as an example, if you are using MongoDB, which is available on AWS and Azure both, again there may be some version difference, but it is the same MongoDB. If you develop your solution using MongoDB, you can simply lift and shift to Azure. You can run the same scripts there. There will be a solution to migrate from DynamoDB to Mango also, but that will be more costly to migrate. Here you are just moving from one cloud provider to another in a seamless way. Again, I'm not saying it is absolutely seamless. There will always be few tools which will be cloud native in your solutioning because they will not make sense, and we'll go there in one by one. So this is the context. What is cloud native? Something which runs on a cloud primarily, difficult to lift and shift, and another will cloud agnostic, where we develop something which can run across different cloud providers or on-prem also. Should I move to the next slide? Good for now. Any questions? Okay, showing we are good. Okay, so now if I move, so now the simple question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages, right? As I said, everything comes with a cost. Everything is nothing called foolproof solutioning in anything. As you can see, the advantages are we just spoke about. You can choose your own cloud provider, or you can, one example is you can create a tool, or you can create an asset which you can say, oh, one of my asset is ready to go. You can deploy in AWS. I get a client who is on AWS, I get a client who is on Azure. But if my tool or my asset, which can be my own asset or my own creation, not for a particular client, it can be anything, and I can say, okay, I am ready, I can deploy for you, I can deploy for you. It's easy. You can choose your cloud provider and you can operate in any platform, and you can get a better option. Another thing can be, we started with a particular, again, I'm not saying something is costly or not costly, because the cost also keeps changing, right? So we found AWS to be very cheaper in 2022 with our technology stacks what we have. Maybe after 5 years we may saying, Oracle is cheaper. They have come up with the, maybe they are trying to come up with or there may be some new cloud rack space. There may be some cloud provider who just came up, and they may give us the same hosting. If my hosting cost is cutting down by 25%, there may be a temptation to go with that for next 5 years. So it is easy for you to freedom. As you can see, the second point, you can move from one to another. It can be really, as you can see, fourth point, can be very cost effective in long run, because you can switch from one provider to another, whoever gives you a better deal. It's not a good idea to switch like every month, obviously, I'm not saying that, but in a long run you can have, okay, I am ready, I need a month, maybe I need 15 days, depending on your solution of complexity. I need just 15 days to move from one cloud to another, and then we can recover that money of migration, because we are going to a cheaper cloud provider, at least for our technology solutions what we have. Second thing is, so it can be cost effective in long run. Scaling is a little bit, I myself put a question mark. So it's the thought process is, you can since your solution is cloud agnostic, you can run on-prem, you can be combination, you can run few servers on-prem, you can have some servers public, private cloud, again with the proper connectivity in place. You can run your solution, you can host it, everything works. But there is a question mark. I will tell you why. Because again, to be honest, I don't know every cloud provider, every tool, every cloud native tool, what is there. But again, I have not personally experienced it. But for example, DynamoDB of AWS, they at least claim, as an example, they can provide 40% or 50% more better performance if we use that compared to their Postgre or some other their cloud agnostic tool which they have, MongoDB and others. So there is a question mark as far as scaling. If it is pure performance, which I think I have not covered yet, it depends. Performance. There is a chance that cloud native. I think I forgot to cover here, but I can talk about it. There's a chance that in the performance or in the scaling part, there's a chance that cloud native solution might, in some cases, might be a better deal because they are actually optimized uh, for that particular cloud environment. The disadvantages, as you can see in the beginning, there will be high upfront cost. A simple example, uh, Lambda, right? I can tell you in few clicks I can get at least my Hello World microservice up and running on AWS, assuming I have the AWS account and I have all the needed rights to create a microservice with all the tools. I can get up and running in 15-20 minutes. At least the Hello World service using AWS Lambda, it's fully functional. Again, not I won't say fully functional for production, but at least to get started. So all those advantages are there with cloud native because there are few clicks and up you go. But if I want to deploy, and we'll go in the next slide, the good alternative of open source cloud agnostic solution is Kubernetes cluster, right? There you need to buy VMs, then you need to set up the Kubernetes cluster on top of it, and then you to do it, right? It takes time, but here you can get up and running quickly, as you can see, quick turnaround. I want to prove something. Client is sitting on my head and he wants something to be delivered in a day. There's a chance that I may be itching towards a cloud native solution to for that quick win, as you can see. And there will be high upfront cost with because then you need to set up, you need to do few things which are maybe easy, straightforward in cloud native solution, but you need to do few things, especially the DevOps. It can be more tricky, and that's why I'm saying. So the way we design our solutions in practical, we try to get that practical approach where we try to be as cloud agnostic as possible, but there are always few things which we use cloud native. One thing can be DevOps, if you ask me. There are very good solutions which are available. As an example, I'm saying with my experience. So AWS has AWS code deploy, and then IBM has its own and all that. It doesn't make sense for us to buy a VM and develop our own DevOps. Then we need to worry about that VM getting down and all those things. So sometimes we need to be still practical about it. We cannot be 100% cloud agnostic in some scenarios. In some cases, at least, DevOps is one strong point. And obviously, in the beginning, it can be cumbersome to build and deploy because you need to do few more things, as I said, compared to cloud native thing. Any questions, or am I too fast? I just want to make sure, is it making sense to everyone? Any feedback you have? Or should I assume I'm doing good? Any questions, anyone? Or should I slow down? Anything?
No, sir, it's absolutely fine, sir.
I'm also you're doing
Okay,
good.
thank you.
We're all
Okay,
okay.
thank you. Okay, so now let me go to the next. Okay, so these are just some examples of. This is very basic example. I don't, as I said, idea of this call was not to kill you with showing too much complicated diagrams and too many slides. This is a very basic. I should have kept it. As I said, this first time I am presenting this. Maybe I will present this internally in IBM also to folks a little bit more tech on this. Maybe is that it's just because they will be more tuned to few things more than with their experience. So if I build something for that is the reason I'm saying with 5-6 years of experience in industry, I need to work on it more, not because of anything else. So as you can see, this is the very simple basic example I put for AWS, and same thing is there in Azure also in the next slide. But I will walk you through that. So this is the simple cloud. Again, it's not, as you can see, it's not 100% cloud agnostic also, but there are many things which are covered. So what it says is there are few things which are still cloud native here. You can see AWS API gateway, Amazon Route 53, which gives me a particular domain. Again, it's too much for me to, create a gateway of my own. You can, and we have done it actually. It's not that it is impossible to, and you can have Kong gateway. You can argue about it, but then I need to buy a VM. I need to set up the Kong gateway, and to do all, or I need to build my own. Then I need to worry about this VM is down and my gateway is down and no one is able to connect to my service. I need to go through all that. So that's why we take a practical approach. So there are few items here, as you can see, which are uh, basically API gateway route 53 are still cloud native in nature, and cloud Amazon Cognito, which is OAuth. I believe you guys are aware of OAuth, at least some of you. OAuth, where you get the tokens and authorization. Again, you can argue, you can have your own OAuth mechanism. Yes, you can do it in Spring, Java, whatnot. There are ways you can implement, but again, it's too much of overhead for me to have my VM and do all that. But as you can see, if you ignore these three, if you go down, we are talking about Amazon ECR. Then this is the based on the container. So important thing is the one of the most key thing you need to understand from any cloud agnostic architecture is Kubernetes, Docker, and Kubernetes. That is the core of the cloud agnostic architecture in the practical terms. I'm not talking about jargons and something you can Google later on. The key thing is you need to know Docker and Kubernetes. These are the most key way you can create a cloud agnostic architecture design. Because what happens with Docker and Kubernetes, Docker is the one which you can develop. As I believe some of you might be. I believe you, or it's very important. I have next slide where I can tell you what can be the possible learning track for cloud agnostic architecture. But the important part is if you Docker is the one which will give you a capability to bundle up your application written in any language, Java, Golang, JavaScript, whatever you want. That actually includes UI also. It doesn't need to be only APIs or microservices. And you can bundle that in a form of image. Now that image you can put in Docker Hub, but here I am saying again, I am ready to use Amazon ECR, which is it is not exactly cloud native, as I said, because container registry I can change without too much of hassles. What I'm trying to say. So today, if my deployed application in form of image, I'm pushing that image to Amazon ECR. If I go down, it will not take me humongous effort to move to ACR, which is Azure uh, container registry, or in IBM Cloud also we have, or it can be on-prem also, your own customized. So if I have my application bundled up with Docker file, my image is ready. It's not, I mean, it's a Docker push command. I can put in Azure, I can put in AWS, I can run it on local, straightforward. So this is, I will use Amazon ECR to make my application more cloud agnostic. I will use EKS, Kubernetes cluster. Now again, Amazon EKS, you can say this is Kubernetes, yes, but this is not a native. This is not a native in that sense. This is Kubernetes cluster. Tomorrow, if I run my application in Kubernetes, whether it is Amazon, tomorrow, if my client says, okay, we got a good deal with Azure, can we move to Azure or somewhere else? It will not take me a humongous effort to create cluster on Amazon. Sorry, Azure agency. I can create an EKS cluster there, and I can start using that. There will be some tweaks in my YML files. I'm not saying it is simple lift and shift, but there will be, but there's no code change. My images can stay as is. I just need to push the images and I need to do some configuration change on YML because there are few things which maybe the YML files are not 100% cloud agnostic. What I found, there are always depending on the version, and you need to. There are ways for you to start a application gateway or some other gateway what you want to use in the ingress, but there will be few things I need to do, but it will be straightforward. My core code is ready to be moved if you are using Docker and Kubernetes. And the last part is, sorry, I forgot. Sorry, that's why I was not the best prepared. So here I am using Amazon RTS. Sorry, what I mean is now the thing is I need some database. Again, this is a very small microservices, or it can be a web application development. And there are many complexities that come. I'm ignored all that. There are security. There are so many things. This is a very basic thing I'm showing right now. In reality, in the real production, need to do many other things to secure your application, all that. I'm not going there. Let's keep it simple. Now you need to connect to a database. Now which database you will pick? Again, I don't want to pick. I want to pick a database which is cloud agnostic in nature. So currently, the thing to turn, if I need to use NoSQL, the one option can be MongoDB. But here I am giving example of Postgres. We have found Postgres to be very effective as an example. So we are using Postgres database. If I forgot to, so this is Amazon RDS, but Amazon RDS with Postgres I'm saying. So sorry, I forgot to mention here. So this is actually Postgres. So if my database in Postgres, I have written scripts or whatever I have done, I can simply lift and shift that from AWS to Azure if it is needed. Simple. Or I can run it locally also. What is that? Can you send the feedback? Okay. Okay. So that is what I'm trying to say. So this is how we design our application, and there will be always few things which will remain cloud native. As I said, if you want to go 100% as a cloud agnostic, not a good idea. You purchase your own VMs and do what you want, But then you can say, okay, I am buying 4 VMs. I am creating my own Kubernetes cluster on top of it. I am using my Kong API gateway. I am doing everything what I want. But then it is getting things stretching the things too far, right? We want to still have some balance. So we pick the technology, we pick the tools which are cloud agnostic in nature. If again I said, if you want to go 100% cloud agnostic, the best option which you can think right now is you purchase VMs and do whatever you want. Then you can say, oh, this is the same Linux box I can purchase in AWS and same thing. But then you need to, then it doesn't remain practical. Then you need to just do too many things. You need to have your own, instance of Postgre database. You need to install Docker yourself. You need to, run that. You need to worry about, you know, so many things. So it should still be a good mixture of what we are talking about. We should not get overboard with anything. Uh, any question or anything you want to talk? Multiple instances at a time, in the sense. Sorry, what is it? What that means? Sorry, can you specify more? Multiple instances, in the sense. Okay, yeah, that is correct. Yes. So in multiple instances of these as I said. So I have shown again. Don't worry about availability zones. What I have done is these are the multiple instances, right, of the same application. So I have spread my I have containers spread across across availability zones also for that matter. And you can obviously, that is the basic things of you can have multiple instances of your application running, yes, inside a Kubernetes cluster. That is the advantage of having Kubernetes cluster, right, which does the container orchestration for you. So you have your application, you create the image out of it using Docker and Docker file. You push that image to Amazon ECR, as I said, or it can be some in Azure. It will be ACR as an example, and you can in your Kubernetes cluster you can run multiple instances. That's not a problem, but that is you can do anyways in any Kubernetes environment. I'm assuming that was your question. Should I move on to next? Okay, but we can have a open up later on also. So again, this is just a slide which takes very basic. Again, this can go on and on forever. These are very basic things which I have noted down. The technology stacks, what we can use. Again, for authentication, OAuth, we can use App ID in IBM Cloud. Azure is your Azure AD, Active Directory. In AWS equivalent is Cognito. This is a very basic run some application, not Hello World, but much better than Hello World, I should say. On the cloud, again, I have cut down on many production related concerns here, keeping it very bare bone. You need to have a OAuth, which is a very basic thing. This is options you can have. RDBMS, just another example. It can be something else also. For it can be Mongo if it is a NoSQL is a requirement, but if it is a RDBMS, you should use Postgre on IBM Cloud. You can use the Postgre in Azure. You can use the Postgre on AWS. Kubernetes we just talked about, right? So you can have IBM Kubernetes services, AKS, and in AWS there is a EKS, similar Kubernetes service. Container registry where you need to push your images IBM has IBM sorry IBM Container Registry. There's a ACR in Azure. AWS has ECR. Kafka, if your solution requires messaging as a solutioning, you can use Event Stream, which is a version of Kafka. Okay, Event Hub in Azure. AWS is MSK, which is Kafka only. So underlying technology is Kafka. We did not talk about Kafka, so everything doesn't need microservice. Always doesn't need to be on HTTP, right? It can be messaging framework also. You if you are using Kafka, then you pick Kafka, you know, and so that again it becomes lift and ship. Again, not exactly lift and ship entirely, but you should have Kafka solution that which can be implemented in any cloud environment. This is very similar slide what was there before, a little bit more highlighted. And this is the last slide what I have. Um, and so before, as you can read it, but any questions so far, or we are good right now? This is the last slide, so I just want to make sure. Are we good so far? Okay. And these are the some proposals which again, this doesn't mean you learn this and you will become expert on cloud. Okay, that's not the thing I am talking about. But if I'm just giving an example, if someone as a fresher who doesn't know anything about cloud, hypothetically, it doesn't happen nowadays, but comes to me and see, okay, I just want to get started, I cannot teach him, okay, learn AI ML and come back to me. I mean, it's possible if that is his or her field. The basics of cloud, which the core thing which make that person employable, as an example I'm saying. So these are the important slide I want to present. There can be a little bit tweak here and there, that how we can start with what are the bare minimum things you need to know in cloud agnostic thing is. So basics that I think you might have done, you purchase an Ubuntu. Like, it doesn't need to be Ubuntu, it can be something else. I just give an example. You purchase Ubuntu on cloud. Okay, sorry, it is on cloud, everything. Okay, just to be sure. You purchase Ubuntu on cloud, you install Docker, you run simple Docker application, you do something, you write your own application, something which beyond Hello World, obviously, it is just a starting. And you learn, you do again, there's nothing like mastering, but you get better and better in Docker concept. You not don't write only Java, you write some application in Golang, you write some application in Node, you become and possibly UI also. Although there are better options to run UI, but you can deploy UI also as a container, right? So you do all that, yeah, React or Angular. Then once you have those, then you move to the Kubernetes. Then you purchase Kubernetes cluster and PostgreSQL. Again, this is all on cloud. So I'm talking about as an example. If you do that on AWS, you will buy EKS and ECR as an example, as you can see, right? You buy it, then you push your sample application to your container, which can be ACR as an example, and which will connect to the PostgreSQL. You deploy your sample Docker image on K8. K8 means Kubernetes. So you deploy your application on ACR, then EKS, and see that running, all that, and you feel good. Okay, I wrote something with Docker, Kuber, and bundled Kubernetes. It is running on Kubernetes. Everything is good. Maybe in the beginning you don't have ingress, you don't have a domain. Maybe you're using IP address, fine. Till the time it is not for production, right? For learning is good. IP driven application you can access. Then there's a little. Sorry. Sorry, what was that question? I read it through again. It went away. What was that? Elastic. Sorry. Can you speak about it?
If you want to work on global level Elastic Engine, so which hosting is better for us?
So exactly what do you mean by elastic engine? I mean, I'm getting it. Can you give me some example? What exactly that means?
Yes, sir.
Elastic engine in the
Like
sense?
I am making a means I'm working on real time project. So on that basis, I want to work on global level. So the data has been stored on cloud, multiple data,
Mm-hmm.
medical image data.
Mm-hmm.
So on that basis, what is the best means required for these users?
So as I said, so I don't want to pick anything. You can go both ways. As I said. So see again. So it is all about. So this topic is about. Again, it's too specific of a question. I need to go in more details. You can pick. See, as I said, you need to. There may be. If you are talking about a cloud agnostic solution, you can pick any. I mean, I don't know exactly. I need to go in details about exactly what your requirements are. All AWS and Azure, they both usually provide it. So when it's about data, again, you need to talk. There are other things which becomes more important. NFRs also become important. You are talking about data in which place it can be hosted, right? As an example, data residency. First, you need to make sure where my data can reside, because there will be a business requirement of my data cannot leave India. My data needs to stay in North America, only in Europe. So first, you need to see. First, you need to make sure which region the data should be staying, and then you need to find you need to find which regions, which cloud hosting platform, let's say AWS and Azure as an example, has better capabilities on that particular region. So I just simple example I give is, again, I have only positive example. As an example, Singapore. If the requirements, my data should be hosted in Singapore, what we found in AWS and Azure, both they have good three availability zones available in Singapore for that requirement. So your data can be hosted in Singapore. You can pick AWS and Azure. So it's all, there are lots of NFRs also required here. It's not just simple. You can pick anything. There are NFR in terms of your data residency requirements. Then in that particular region, which cloud hosting is gives me the cheapest price, and also, sorry, can you- so the solution will go in that direction. Saying something, Swati? Okay. Okay. Let me finish with this, and then we can take more questions. So it will, there will be some NFR which will also come into the picture. Now, if you go to the advanced version of it, that I need to go beyond just running something on Kubernetes. You need to purchase a OAuth provider. When I say OAuth provider, it can be Cognito for AWS, or it can be Azure AD as an example. You should be able to integrate your APIs with that OAuth provider. One way to do it is you actually code for it. You can integrate using your Go or whichever Java, whatever you want. With the SDKs are available, right? You can do that, or you can actually leverage application gateway, but there will be some cost involved with it, right? If you do that, you should be able to get your API secured with an OAuth provider. It is token driven, and then you expose your APIs as Kubernetes ingress. So you can expose your APIs, make it available not securely with SSL to the world. Again, this thing can go on and on. Then you can put on top of it a domain using Azure DNS or Amazon Route 53. But I have not covered that here. You can, learning is infinite, right, as you can see. But these were the basic things I will suggest you should be aware of, that how we can create a, this can be the learning curve for someone. I don't know all of you, honestly. Some of you might be knowing all this and might be thinking, why am I in this particular discussion? But there, I am assuming there will be few who might be just starting with it, or their cloud journey, or somewhere in intermediate. So this is where your very basic, learning curve can be there to do it, because this is what I'm showing you is the very crucial thing which is required, which we look for in most, I won't say most, but a lot of our projects. Again, there are many other things that happen. These are the basic things: running a microservices or Angular application agnostically on cloud. There are many other things. I have not covered everything. These are the basic things which I can propose right now. Okay, actually, I'm actually done with my presentation. We have some time, so any questions I can take? Uh, anything you want to discuss beyond this? my idea was to give you the message. I believe you got it what I was trying to address here. But any questions you have or any comments?
So,
Anything?
Amol sir, I just want to ask you. So, there are a lot of students who are, still in learning phase. They're probably not much aware of how corporates and, tech companies work. So, obviously, they have that, mindset of how to get into it. For example, IBM, or other companies like Accenture, Cognizant, and what are the skill set apart from technical skill set that they should look out for?
It's a very broad question. So, if it is not, I mean, I don't. It's a very generic question, I should say. So beyond technology, obviously, we look for the, So if you are not talking about technical, what I showed is the very crucial, important thing from the cloud perspective. Basic thing we will look for as an example. At least me, I will just give. Let's talk about technology because that is what we are here. Is that if somebody says again, I'm not talking about even I did not know many things before, so I'm not saying that I or even I there are many things which I don't know now also. Basic things are Docker, Kubernetes, as I said, that learning curve. But beyond it, obviously, we look for. I have seen, personally speaking, I have seen many developers. I'm talking about experienced developers also who actually don't know a technology, but when they get a project, for example, people don't know Golang. Golang is also one popular thing which I personally like a lot, better than Node, JavaScript. But and they pick it up. So there are a lot of things that comes beyond technology. The attitude is the most important part. Eager to learn. There are many other things that comes into picture, and we have seen many times. The attitude is the one which keeps people. Many times I personally pick the folks with a better attitude sometimes rather than better skill also. Again, if somebody doesn't know anything about cloud, how I will pick him? Attitude doesn't help, right? But that is, I think, attitude is the important part. I should say right now.
Thank you, sir. So it's like, for the students who are here, it's very important that you should have that mindset of learning new things. Probably at this point of time, you have a mentality that you should be good on Python or maybe ML or other technologies. But if you're open to learn, open to adjust, then you have hopes to get into big techies, and you can succeed in whatever your dreams are. Right attitude and mindset also plays an important role. Thank you. I mean, I hope
Yeah,
the students
yeah,
understand that you have to be ready to face any kind of challenge, and that is through learning new things.
yeah. So to keep it simple, I will actually just to add to that. If you see as a broad, what is software and what usually again what I'm saying is I'm not talking about too much in the today's world where actually languages are very simpler. Golang, Node, Java also. Java actually simply I used to code in C and C plus plus, and I used to much more complicated than now. Finally, it's the same loops, right? If else, what, you should not say, oh, I don't know, Golang, it's not a big deal, it's very simple languages. Nowadays we don't uh, usually, again, there may be reasons. We don't get into the Fortran and C and all that. It's finally if else loop. Do while. For loops. It's not. Again, I'm trying to very simplify this. It's not as simple as this, but we should have that mindset of okay, I can learn because if you will be expert in something, the project requirements or company requirement will be something else. And that attitude is important to learn and perform. Quick learner. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I think that answers a big question for all the students. Student, if you have any questions, please come up and speak. We have sir with us, and he's there to answer. Amar sir, would you like to come up?
audible, ma'am? Hello.
It's fine if there's no question. I think maybe I did well.
Yeah,
I
sir, I
can
do
read the
have one
message. I'm
question,
not sure.
sir.
Sorry, saying
May I?
something. Hello.
May I? Sir, actually, most of the students are having a doubt in their mind regarding cloud computing and the edge computing. So, how we can compare the both the technologies, and if they want to start their career in edge computing, whether it is restricted to some extent or it's a one of the part of the cloud computing.
Okay. I need to get back to you on that. Let me note it down. Okay. I will. So it
Okay.
is cloud computing versus edge computing.
Yeah, so
Okay.
because sir, in our right now your institute there are two vertical domains. One is edge computing and one is cloud computing. So students are having some phobia in their mind. So if cloud computing, what are the opportunities? If I to do on the edge computing, what are the opportunities?
Actually, I am not very well. What actually mean by edge computing? Sorry, I'm being naive here.
uh, okay,
What is that?
it's a one of the part of the cloud computing which is related to hardware aspects, so to connect the data
Oh,
with
okay,
this.
okay, okay,
Yeah. Yes.
okay. So I mean that. Uh, I mean, honestly, me personally, we are. I may not be. I am actually not in that edge
Okay.
computing space.
Okay.
To be
Okay.
honestly, so I don't want to get into something which I am not aware of. I'm
Okay.
primarily onto the core cloud computing space.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, sir.
So, sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, sir.
I can only try to answer. As I said, we all are
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
students, right?
Because sir, in AWS section, we have seen one part of AWS IoT related section.
Okay. You are. So what I'm trying to say, Harshad, is so here what I told you about is a very basic, So
Mm-hmm.
see what happens is when it goes to IoTs, when it comes to the AI ML part,
Mm-hmm.
it is little bit complicated to have cloud agnostic design in mind, right? Because those are more fine tuned to a
Okay.
particular specific. So in let me let me give simple example. Let me give an example of AI ML tools. So for example, most of the AI ML tools. So whatever we have the data now, in my data is in Postgres, sitting terabytes of data and dot. On top of it, I need to run search engine or I need to run need to do AI ML on top of it. Those things are we need to. It's not cloud agnostic. It should still have that agnosticism in mind that my output should be in JSON. It should be JSON driven. For example, most of the AI ML tool take JSON as one of the input or XML as an input. Those things I can talk about, but as I said, I'm not that much versed on that field.
Thank you so much, sir.
Anything else?